Welcome, welcome. Online friends, welcome. We're going to be doing a 60-minute power flow yoga class today. So for today's class, I want you to start out in a comfortable cross-legged position. And just take a moment and find the front edge of your sit bones so you can take a step back or pull the flesh away. And then with your hands on top of your knees, just close your eyes and take an inhale to lift your shoulder heads high up towards your ears. And on your exhale, just roll your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. Get all the way down to the end of your breath. And then breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe up to your mid-abdomen for 1, 2, 3, and hold. And then take your breath all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, relax around it. And then take a slow exhale to release all the way down to empty. Pace yourself. And then once you get down to empty, squeeze all the way out and start up your ujjayi breathing. So inhaling through the nose, slow and deep, like you're sipping the air in through a straw. All the way up to your full points. And on your exhales, releasing the air out your nose like you're fogging up a mirror. And again, that pacing the breath all the way down to empty. With ujjayi breathing, it feels like you're closing the back of your throat, engaging the muscles in the back of your throat. And then we're looking to create a sound like ocean waves or a sound like hollow wind. And the mantra or the theme I want us to work with for our class today is that it is enough, that we are enough, that our practice is enough, that our bodies are enough. And as we work with this mantra of enough, of feeling satisfied, of feeling grounded inside of that space, I think it opens up the ability for us to enjoy more of the present moment, to enjoy more of the present experience, and to bring in more gratitude for what we have right here and right now. As always, I want you to take what works for me, leave the rest behind, and then the true guide for your practice is your breath. It brings your mind and your body onto the same page. Eyes can come up into a soft gaze up front. And then on an inhale, just reach your arms up nice and tall in space. And on your exhale, we'll take a twist over to the right, just bringing your right hand behind you and the left hand to the outside of your right knee. On the inhale, reach up nice and tall through your spine. And then as you exhale, twist from center and just send your gaze back across your right shoulder. Left hand can just pull on the outside of your right knee. And we're just taking a couple rounds of breath inside of this twist, just working the kinks out in the back. So inhale is going to come in. It will work a little bit against the twist. And then when your exhale comes in, feel your body releasing a little bit deeper into it. You stay right where you're at, or if you want to stretch out the right side of your neck, simply tilt your left ear forward to your left shoulder. And then you can lift your chin up in space to get to the front right edge of your neck, or let your chin come forward and down to find the back right edge of your neck. And same idea where those exhales are going to be a space of releasing. If your head is tilted to the side, when your next inhale comes through, just lift your head up, look over to the right side of the room, and on your exhale, do one more twist back across your shoulder, get all the way down to empty. On an inhale, just reach the arms wide and tall, face toward the front of the room. And then when your exhale comes, take your twist now over to the left, just bringing that left hand behind you, right hand outside of your left knee. Inhale to lengthen your spine up from the front edge of your sit bones. And on your exhale, twist from center, send the gaze back across your shoulder. Hold on to that twist and then just work with your breath inside of the twist. Beautiful. So you can stay right where you're at, or to stretch out the left side of your neck, just tilt your right ear forward to the right shoulder. And again, maybe experiment with lifting your chin up in space, finding the front left edge of the neck, or letting the chin come forward and down, finding the back left edge of the neck. And if your head is to the side, on an inhale, just bring your head upright. You're looking over to the left. And as you exhale, just twist all the way to the back of the room. Gaze across your left shoulder. Get down to empty. One more inhale, we'll reach the arms up nice and tall in space, facing forward. And on the exhale, guide your hands down into your heart center. And then take it forward into a tabletop position. So bring yourself off your sit bones. You can start to work into cat and cow from here. So cow is dropping your belly, lifting your chest and tailbone, opening. And on those cats, we can drop the tailbone, drop the head, mid-back goes high. Work your breath in however it makes the most sense to you. Add any back and forth or side-to-side movement through your hips or through your shoulders. Keep working with cat and cow, or to warm up your wrists, just turn the insides of both of your wrists to face the front of the mat. Your fingers point back and your thumbs point to the side. And then you could rock back in space, peeling the palms off the mat, lifting to your fingertips, and then slowly rock back forward, rolling the hands all the way back down into the ground. And we could take that a couple times. Working through the fingers, working through the circle of the palm, working through your wrists, working through your forearms. And then take the back of your hands down to the ground when you're ready, and you can face the fingers backwards, or your fingers can face towards one another. You could do side to side or back and forth, or the same thing where you're leaning back, lifting to your fingernails, and then rolling back down into the ground, rooting back into the back of your hands. Excellent, friends. And all roads can take us into hero's pose. So knees together, tops of the feet to the ground, sit bones back to your heels, and then just give it a roll out into your wrists. So move into your fingers. And with that warm up in our wrists, we are ready to take this into a plank position. So tapping the toes to the back of your mat, taking your palms directly underneath your shoulders, and then hips are up on level with your shoulders, and you're toning your biceps in towards center line. Try just rocking back and forth slightly, feeling into your muscles holding you up here, all the way back to your core, all the way into your arms, all the way into your chest, into your back. And then on an exhale, just come halfway down. You can do this on your knees with your ankles crossed as well. Inhale will bring us back up to the top of our plank. Take that 2 more times. So exhale, come down, lead forward with the sternum. Inhale, lifts back up. You guys got it. Last one. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, lift back up. Okay, this exhale, we're bringing that plank all the way down to the belly, and then we'll work with a low cobra. So root the tops of your feet. Bring your palms lower down your torso, elbows are up in space, and then squeeze the elbows in so your shoulder blades squeeze in, and lift your chest up off the ground, rooting through the tops of the feet. Find the length through the back of your neck so chin is slightly back to throat. And stay with that breathing. And feel like your fingertips are pulling backwards as your spine is reaching forwards. Last couple rounds of breath on that low cobra. You're doing great. So you take one more inhale to find that lift through the back of the neck. And then when your exhale comes, lower down. And to get to our down dog, you can move through a tabletop or through a plank. And just draw your hips back and up in space and start to warm up your down dog. So you could just do these slow steps where you're just reaching, pressing into one heel while the other knee bends at a time.
finding your breathing. And then after walking your dog out for a little bit, find the stillness in it. Spread out into your palms, into your fingers. Your hands are slightly wider than your shoulders. Let those elbows hug into center line. Really, it's your biceps hugging to center line. Imagine there are tennis balls and you're between your ears and your biceps, and you're pinning the tennis balls into the ears with those biceps holding into center line. And then lift the hips up nice and tall and use the length of the hips up in space to draw the heels down towards the ground behind you. Breathe into down dog. Your next exhale, bend your knees and take your step or your float all the way up to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway up, you can press to your shins, to your thighs. Spine comes parallel, shoulder blades tone in, gaze is down. And on your exhale, refold. And then just give your head a slow nod, yes. And you can bend your knees as much as you need to allow your fingertips to rest into the ground. Awesome. Give your head a slow side-to-side nod, no. And then vertebrae by vertebrae will roll up to standing, letting the head be the very last thing that comes up. When the head does come up, inhale to reach your arms wide, stretch up tall, maybe arc slightly back in space, and then bring the hands down to your heart center on your exhale. Inhale to reach up tall, breathe in mountain. Interlace your pointer fingers into a steeple, and on your exhale, we're just going to arch over to the right, so as you push to the ground, your hips shift to the left. And rather than feeling that your shoulders are lifting up towards your ears, you can relax the shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Your inner side body, your right side body is lifting, and it's helping to stretch that outer left side body. On an inhale, come back up, maybe arc slightly back. And then with your exhale, just switch things out. So tilt this over to the left. Hips shift over to the right, so more press into your right foot. Lifting through that inner left side body. Again, shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Pulling those biceps back to frame your ears. Excellent. With your next inhale, reach up tall, release the steeple grip, and on your exhale, drop your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers at your knuckles, and then start to pull the knuckles down, and then bend your elbows a little bit and start to pull your elbows back and up in space. Have a little bit of a bend into your knees so we're kind of a little more active in the legs, and then start to lift the elbows up in space as you take the knuckles, point them down and back. Breathe in here. And on your next exhale, we'll just hinge this forward into a forward fold, letting the clasped arms reach out overhead. To remind the weight of your head that it can relax down, you could do a little side-to-side movement through it. And there can always be a slight bend in your elbow, so they're lifting up and back. And then as your knuckles reach up towards the sky, or reach forward, just depending on where you're at in your stretch. Take one more deep inhale to reach, stretch. And then when your exhale comes, just release your hands out of it. Inhale comes halfway up, lengthen through your spine. On your exhale, refold. Hold navel to spine at empty. And this time, reverse swan dive. Inhaling, arms come up nice and tall in space. And on your exhale, just draw your hands down into your heart center. Excellent, friends. We'll find Utkatasana chair pose on an inhale. So letting your sit bones reach back in space as your arms lift up. You could take a cactus position with your arms if you want. Or we can have those arms reaching up and then biceps pulling back to frame the ears. If you practice with your big toes together, you've got ankle bone, knees, and thighs all connected. Or if your feet are at hip bone distance, we want to leave the knees at hip bone distance, so avoid bowing out or bowing in. And as you're sitting back into your chair, sit back into the muscles of your legs fired up all the way up into your glutes. And then we're strong through the back here. We're smiling open through the chest. Beautiful. So the practice we're going to do is you're going to leave your right foot up in space, and then on an exhale, you're going to step back into a flying lunge with the left foot. So ball of the left foot reaches back and arms reach back, and you leave the right foot up where it is.
Once you've got that flying lunge in place, extend back through your arms. Ball of the left foot is rooted. And we've got a little bit of a shape like cobra going on in our back here, where you've got the length through the back of the neck, chest is lifting. So I want you to try this a couple times, where you use an inhale to bring your left foot to step up and meet your right. And then on an exhale, you come back into that flying chair. So you'll end up having done 3 of these in all, or excuse me, that flying lunge, 3 of these in all, and then we'll meet back in that flying lunge after you've done 3 of them. Beautiful. When you're rooted back in the flying lunge, ball of the left foot behind you. You got your right knee right above your right heel. Feel your thighs toning in. We're now going to take this all the way up to a one-legged mountain on an inhale. So lifting your arms and your left knee up tall in space. Left knee is bent at 90, and that thigh bone is plugging back into your hips. Playful with your balance. Right foot is your base. Okay, friends, breathe in to one-legged mountain, left knee lifts, and on your exhale, swim back into your flying lunge. Ball of the left foot plants, arms reach back. We're doing that 2 more times. On an inhale, lift back up, one-legged mountain, and then exhale, swim back, flying lunge. Nice, last one. Inhale, reach up, one-legged mountain. And on the exhale, come back and find the flying lunge. Take your time. Once you find it, we're going to open up into Warrior 2 with one of your inhales. So knife edge of the left foot down to the ground, left arm backwards, right arm forward in space. Leave your arms at extension. You could also guide your hands into your hips. That will help you to bring your spine straight up in space as you press down into this. And you can also, I bring my thumbs behind my back here, kind of line that right sit bone up right underneath the body as you press back down into that back left leg, and then extend your arms out from there. Gaze out over your front fingertips. Shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back, so open through the chest. And find your breathing. We want to be in a deep lunge where that right knee is pretty much bent at 90 degrees right over your right heel. On an exhale, find your extended side angle pose. So you could do right forearm to right thigh. You could do the length of the right arm down the inside of the right leg with the back of the hand pressing to the inside of the ankle. Left arm can go straight up in space, or if you're up on your thigh, you could also make a diagonal line from your back left leg all the way out through your left fingers here. Check that your back left hip is not popping up in space. You want to keep that left hip drawn down on level with your right hip while you're here. And stay with the breath as we start to build up more heat in that right quadricep. Beautiful breathing. On an inhale, friends, rise back up into your Warrior 2, and then we reverse your Warrior on the exhale. So right arm reaches up. You can bend the elbow a little bit, let the right hand dip back in space. Left hand to your hip, thigh, or wrapped behind you, and then staying active inside of that lunge. And it's through both of your legs. I know the focus is on your right leg because we're lunging forward with it, but we still have the power going back down into that left leg. Left ear is melting down away from your left shoulder. Take an inhale here, and on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down into a low lunge position. And then 3-legged down dog, right leg lifts back and up in space. Big diagonal line from your hands all the way back up through your foot. And then I love feeling the activity here in your left hip. So rather than it sinking down, it also is lifting slightly up and back to help lift that right leg up and back. Beautiful. On your next exhale, bring your knee to your right elbow or tricep. And we're just holding in this 3-legged plank, hugging in towards center line, staying with the breath. Inhale takes it to 3-legged down dog. And on your exhale, bring your knee over to your left elbow or tricep. And same thing, just holding that 3-legged plank. Inhale back up. And on your exhale, bring your knee to your forehead, back heel goes high.
One more inhale to three-legged down dog. And then your choice of how you want to take a flow here, you could go right to down dog. You could shift forward to a three-legged plank. You could go halfway down to chaturanga and do low cobra or upward facing dog, tops of the feet rooted, and eventually we meet back in our downward facing dog. Friends, find a couple rounds of breath in your downward facing dog. Stay active with those hips lifting back and up. That combination of pressing and pulling into the ground. Your next exhale, bend the knees, take your step or your float up to our forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale brings us halfway up, lengthen and strengthen through the spine. And on the exhale, refold. Hold navel to spine it empty, press away from the floor as you rise up, breathe in, mountain. And on this exhale, cactus your arms and take a baby back bend, lifting through the chest. Inhale to reach back up into mountain. Your gaze is forward. And then just bring the hands to your heart center on your exhale. So Utkatasana chair pose begins the sequence on the other side. Letting your sit bones reach back in space. And again, if you've got big toes together, we've got ankle bone, knees, and thighs all pressed in at center. Otherwise, we're using everything at hip bone distance right here. And as we're sitting back into it, we're feeling the strength of our legs right up into our glutes. And then your game, you're going to breathe into chair, leave your left foot where it is, and on your exhale, step back to that flying lunge. So ball of the right foot back, arms back. Hold that flying lunge for just a couple rounds of breath to feel it on this side. So elbows are slightly bent and lifting, shoulder blades toned in. We've got the strength of the legs below us. On an inhale, come back up to your chair. Right foot meets the left, arms lift. And then exhale back into your flying lunge. And we'll do one more of these to make 3. So on an inhale, come back up into your chair. Right foot meets your left. And on your exhale, take that flying lunge. Okay, beautiful. Now we'll do the same thing in our one-legged mountain. So on an inhale, rise up to one-legged mountain, arms and right knee lift. Right thigh bone plugging into your body, rooted into your left foot, and fully extended all the way through your fingertips. Stay playful with your balance. Try to focus your gaze on an object in front of you that's not moving. Breathe in here with that lift through your right knee. And on your exhale, go all the way back to your flying lunge. Stay playful with the balance. We're doing that 2 more times. So inhale to come back up into your one-legged mountain. Arms and right knee lift. And then exhale flies us back. Right on. One more of those. Inhale, rise back up, one-legged mountain. And then exhale back to your flying lunge. When you stick it, you can start to come up into your warrior 2. So knife edge of the right foot to the ground. Right arm back, left arm forward. And again, you could also use that technique of just bringing your hands into your hips to widen through your stance, lengthen through it, and then to guide your left sit bone underneath your body. Once it's there, extending back open through your arms, and then opening through your chest. So just rolling your shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back, taking that gaze right out over your fingertips and finding your breath right here. And then coming back to that mantra, coming back to that theme, it is enough. I am enough right here in this moment. Getting to embody what you have right here and right now. And I love the warrior poses where we get to experience the power that moves through our own bodies. On your next exhale, friends, find your extended side angle pose. So left forearm to your left thigh, or whatever variation you took on the other side. You could reach that left arm down the inside of the left leg, pressing the elbow into the knee. Back the hand inside of your ankle. And if you felt your right hip pull back up, so if you kind of came out of the lunge, recommit into it. Find your knee right over your heel. Find your back hip on level with your front left hip. Working with your breath. Finding that lift through your inner side body. On an inhale, come back up into your warrior 2, and then we'll reverse the warrior when you're ready. And this is where you continue to press down into your lunge as you lift that left arm up and back in space. Right hand to your hip thigh or behind you And as you reach up to your side body, you can add a little bend back into your elbow. And that back right leg is super strong. Your quad is engaged. You're pressing down into the foot behind you as you lunge into the front leg, and those thighs are pulling in towards center. Draw one more inhale right here. And then when your exhale comes, cartwheel your hands down to your low lunge position. And then we're going to take three-legged down dog on an inhale. So left leg reaches up and back. Lift back and up through those hips, even backing up through your right hip. Press into your hands. Press back through your heel or the ball of the foot. Inhale here, and on your exhale, bring your knee to your left elbow or tricep, shoulders above your hands. Hold and breathe on this three-legged plank. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, now bring your knee to your right elbow or tricep for a three-legged plank hold. Inhale, three-legged dog. Excellent. And then knee to your forehead, friends. Back heel lifts high. You're doing great. Stay with it. Head relaxed. Inhale, reach back up, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, your choice of how you want to flow, you can go right to down dog. You could shift forward to three-legged plank, drop halfway, low cobra, or an upward facing dog. And then we meet back in our down dog. Body a little bit more warmed up as we come into this. Stay engaged. Awesome. Your next exhale, you can bend your knees, look between your hands, and then just step or float up to your forward fold, top of your mat. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, refold, hold navel to spine at empty, and then we'll reverse swan dive. Inhale, arms wide and tall. Exhale, the cactus it open, baby back bend. Nice. Inhale, reach back up into mountain. And then hands into your heart center. Okay, so we're going to go breath to movement now. It begins with inhaling into chair. Leave your right foot where it is, and on your exhale, come back to flying lunge. Ball of left foot, arms back. On your inhale, lift up to one-legged mountain, so left knee and arms come up tall. And on your exhale, flying lunge, so ball of left foot back, arms back. Inhale, warrior two. And on your exhale, extended side angle pose. Inhale, open up to reverse warrior. And on your exhale, cartwheel down into a low lunge. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And then exhale, knee to right elbow or tricep. Inhale, back, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee left elbow or tricep. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And exhale, knee into your forehead. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And then your choice of how you want to flow. I'm going to go to plank, drop halfway, inhale, up dog, and then you got it. We meet in down dog. Nice. Take a breath into your down dog, and on your exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step or float up to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive. Exhale, cactus open. Inhale, reach back up into mountain. Exhale, hands to your heart center. So here's the other side. Inhale, chair pose, arms lift. Leave the left foot where it is. Exhale, reach back, flying lunge, ball of right foot, arms back. Inhale, one-legged mountain, right knee lifts, arms lift. And then exhale, flying lunge, right leg back, arms back. Inhale is warrior two. And on your exhale, extended side angle pose. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And on your exhale, cartwheel down to a low lunge position. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And then exhale, bring the knee over to your left elbow or tricep. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee right elbow, tricep. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee into forehead. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Nice. And then your choice of how you're going to flow. So you could take a plank, up dog, and down dog, or your choice. Okay, one more time on each side. Breathe in, down dog. As you exhale, bend the knees, look between your hands, step or float, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive. Exhale, cactus open. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll inhale, chair pose. Leave the right foot where it is. Exhale, flying lunge, left leg back, arms back. Inhale, one-legged mountain, arms left knee lift. Exhale, back to that same flying lunge. Inhale, warrior two. And then exhale to your extended side angle pose. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, cartwheel down, low lunge. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And exhale, knee to right elbow or tricep. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee left elbow or tricep. You got it. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, your knee to your forehead. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, your choice of how you want to take your flow. Maybe it's plank, low plank, up dog, down dog. Right on, one more side. So breathe in, down dog. And on your exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, step or float, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, refold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. And then exhale, cactus open, baby back bend. Inhale, reach up to mountain, gazes forward. Exhale, hands into your heart center. So inhale, chair, sit bones back. And on your exhale, take your right leg and your arms back, flying lunge. Inhale, one-legged mountain, arms and right knee lift. And then exhale, same flying lunge, right leg back, arms back. Inhale, warrior two. And on the exhale, extended side angle pose. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And on your exhale, cartwheel down into a low lunge. Inhale, three-legged down dog, left leg up. And exhale, knee left elbow or tricep. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee right elbow or tricep. Inhale, reach it back and up. And on the exhale, bring the knee to your forehead. Inhale, reach back up. And on your exhale, your choice of this last vinyasa, this last flow. We're meeting back in downward facing dog. Let your air out to empty in that down dog. Take a deep breath in, fill up. And on your exhale, side out. You can find child's pose, so knees out wide towards the edges of your mat. Tops of the feet to the ground, big toes together. Sit bones just rest back towards your heels. Slowing it down, finding your breathing. Find those last couple rounds of breath here. And as you get down to the end of your breath, you can bring yourself up, shift to your sit bones. This is a great time to grab a drink of water before we move into some work for our core muscles. Nice job. Got sweaty in here. Perfect. So when you're ready for it, just bring yourself down onto your back. And then send your legs straight up in space. Grab your hamstrings and lift your head and shoulders off the ground so your gaze is forward. Perfect. And then we're going to release the arms forward, and we're going to start to do twists. So you're reaching forward with your left arm, and you're reaching forward with your right arm. You can always take one hand behind the base of your skull if you need support here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do movement, hold, and movement. So the hold is just your arms are straight up. Maybe one hand is behind the base of your skull. And just hold the arms straight up. Gaze forward. Use your breathing. Almost there. Okay, perfect. Go back into your side-to-side movement. Reach up through the toes, reach up through the ball of the feet, stretch through the legs, lift through your chest. We're on the last couple. 3, 2, 1. Maybe reclined cobbler's pose or another type of resting pose. So Supta Baddha Konasana, where the bottoms of the feet are together, knees are out wide. And then you're letting the weight of the head relax and the arms just relax. And then slowing down your breath. Excellent, friends. On this next one, I want you to find a reverse tabletop. So your knees are bent at 90, bottoms of the feet are pointed forward, and then interlace your hands back behind the base of your skull, lifting the head and shoulders off the ground. And then we're going to do in, up, and down. So from here, just extend your legs out to a leg lift. Low back is pressed to the ground. And then the movement, you can begin this, inhale, knees in, and then exhale, legs straight up, and then back down to the diagonal. That's your movement. In, up, and down with your breathing. Okay, we're ready for our hold. So you're just going to hold your feet together out on the diagonal, lifting your legs up off the ground, feeling those core muscles engaged. Low back is rooted to the mat, and then staying with your breathing. Almost there. Start your in, up, and down again. Last couple. Last one. Woo! All right. So a full morning stretch or back into some type of resting pose here. Letting the weight of the body release. Rolling out the ankles and the wrists, fingers and toes if you're in that full morning stretch. Awesome, friends. And then draw the knees back in like you were doing a reverse tabletop. But this time, grab your hamstrings. And we're going to use the core muscles and momentum just to rock back and forth the length of the spine. All the way to the sit bones, all the way to the base of the skull. Catch yourself up on your sit bones. Perfect. And then we're going to work with in and outs. So for a boat pose, we're lifting up through the chest. Shoulder blades are toned in. And the in and out, you're going to bring the knees in, do more of a rounding in your spine. And with the exhales, you'll open back up into more of our traditional boat. So just take those in and outs at your own pace. The in can be the in-breath. And then as you open out, that can be your exhale. And again, you're finding more of that traditional shape for boat pose when you're opening up. Okay, perfect, friends. Next time you open up, find your Navasana, find your boat pose. So that nice lift up to your spine, shoulder blades toned in, shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Relax through your face. You're doing awesome. Lots of good breathing. Go back into your in and outs. You got it. Last few here.
The next time you come in, you can just cross your ankles. If you want another drink of water, grab one, and then we're going to meet up in Sphinx pose. You can come all the way forward to a forearm plank. And then from your forearm plank, you can just lower your hips down to the ground. Tops of the feet pressed to the earth. Sphinx is a big stretch for the abdominal wall. It's a big stretch for our back, especially the low back. And I love doing a little bit of twisting in the head in the head and neck while we're here. So if you'd like to, just take your gaze over your left shoulder. And then if you're over on the left, just work with your breath and take it over to the right. Weight of your head can come and fall forward. You can find cat in your upper spine. You might move your chin a little bit side to side. And then just like you're laying out at the beach, just release your arms, release your head, release your chin down to your hands or your forehead. Feet can remain heavy to the ground, or you can bend the knees, bringing the feet up in space and start to circle out your ankles and circle out your knees. Wunderbar. And when you're ready, friends, we are moving back into downward facing dog. So again, make your way either through tabletop or through our plank, shifting the hips back and up in space. And then once we got this, we're going to pull the right leg back up to a three-legged down dog and open the hip and bend the knee, so drape the toes down over to the left as your knee lifts up. This is a scorpion down dog. Watch that you're not sinking into your left shoulder, so it's up on level with your right, and that your back left heel is not pointing out to the left, it's pointing directly behind us. Now on your exhale, guide your right knee to your left elbow or tricep. Okay, and then we're going to move into a version of side plank with a support. So you're going to take the right leg and you'll extend it off the left side of your mat onto the outside edge of the foot. Drop your back left heel to the ground. Take the weight to your right arm and then lift your left arm up in space. And then that right leg is fully extended. You're just on the knife edge of it out to the side. Now, if you want to move this into side plank, you start to lift your right foot up off the ground. So you're pressing into your right hand, you're pressing into your left foot, you're reaching up through your left arm, and then your right leg is lifting off of the floor. Lots of lift through that inner right side body, that oblique. Move back to your three-legged down dog. Nice work. Breathe into it. And on your exhale, let's come up into a low lunge position. Awesome. Just leave your left hand underneath your shoulder. Inhale your right arm up in space, twisting. And then for runner's lunge, we'll bring the right foot to the right hand rather to the inside of the right foot. So heel toe your right foot off to the right side of your mat. Back knee can touch down to the ground, or keep the back knee lifted. And then you can stay to your hands or bring your elbows down to the floor or to a block, to your water bottle, to a blanket. And then we're maybe opening the inside of your right foot to face a little to the front of the room. So you can just pivot with your right heel pressing down, just pivot your right toes a little bit out to the right. You want your right knee to remain above your right heel in space. And then either your hands or your elbows are on the inside of that right foot. Neck muscles can get a little bit of a break here. And then we want to watch we're not sinking into that left hip. If you'd like to take cat grabs its tail, your back left knee will touch down. You can press into your left forearm, hand, or fist, and then you're going to start to twist your chest over to the right. Start to lift your back left foot up in space and reach your right hand for the inside arch of the foot, and then pull the heel in towards your sit bone. And we're off of the kneecap. We're just right onto the soft tissue at the end of the thigh. Our release out of this runner's lunge will be a wide-legged forward fold, opening up to face the left side of your mat. So fix a solid width for your stance. On an inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through your spine. And on your exhale, refold. A ragdoll frame might feel really nice here. Letting the weight of the torso hang heavy as opposite hand grabs the outside of opposite elbow or bicep. And then with the weight of the head and arms heavy, you could take a little sway side to side, a little rock back and forth. Any nod yes or nod no with your head can also feel fantastic here. Release if you are in that ragdoll frame, and then walk up to a low lunge position. And we're going to use our low lunge position to launch into the one-legged balance half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So right fingertips or right hand goes out in front of you, and you stand up on the right leg, bringing your left leg up in space. We want the right hand directly underneath your shoulder. And you can also use a block or take the hand to your water bottle. Left hand, bring it to your hip. And then allow the left hand to pull the hip open to stack over the right. So you're turning the inside of the left hip to face to the left. So your toes point to the left and your left heel is pressing to the wall behind you. From there, lengthen your left arm up tall in space so you've got your full wingspan opening. And just stay playful. If you fall out of it, no worries, friends. Last couple rounds. One more inhale. And then we're going to go back to that low lunge with the exhale, just releasing back. Step back to a plank. You can go right to down dog or take a vinyasa. That flow, low plank, up dog, downward facing dog. As you get to this down dog, friends, left leg can pull back and up in space, three-legged down dog. And then open the hip and bend the knee, so drape the toes down over to the right. Okay, so you've got your scorpion tail in three-legged down dog. Watch that your right shoulder is not dipping, it's up on level with your left. And then when you're ready, just cross your left knee to your right elbow or tricep. Now for this version of side plank, you're going to start to extend your left leg off the right side of your mat onto the knife edge of it. Drop your back right heel to the ground. Press your left arm and lift up through your right arm. And then if you want to go for the full version of this, you lift your left foot off the ground. And your back right leg, it looks like you're in side plank, that back right leg. And there's lots of lift through that inner side body. Awesome. We'll meet up in our three-legged down dog. Left leg pull back and up. And on your exhale, just step up to a low lunge. Once you got your knee above your heel, leave your right hand down. Inhale, your left arm lifts up, twisting that low lunge. Breathe into it. And then for runner's lunge, on an exhale, bring the left hand to the inside of your left foot. So walk your left foot over to the left. Back right foot can go a little bit back into the right. And then leave your back knee lifted. Bring it to the ground if you want. Stay on the hands or work your forearms down to the floor or down to a block. And it's easier to get into your right forearm or elbow. The focus is making sure the weight is in the left elbow, left hand, that you're not leaning over to the right. And part of that is that your right hip's not dropping down. It's picking up on level with your left hip. You could turn your left toes a little out to the left, so the inside of your left foot is facing more forward. Neck muscles can take a little bit of a break, and your knee is right over your heel. Find your breath. Okay, if your cat grabs its tail, your back right knee will need to touch down. You're into your right forearm, fist, or your hand, and then you lift your back left foot up in space. Your back right foot up in space, rather. Your left hand is reaching back and grabbing the inside edge of that back right foot, and then pulling against it, and your gaze goes over to the left. And you're off your kneecap. You're on the soft tissue at the end of your thigh here. All roads release us to our wide-legged forward fold. You're facing over to the right. Take an inhale halfway up. And on your exhale, fold forward. And then you can grab onto the big toes. So the peace sign fingers can pull on the inside of the big toes and pull forward, or pull to center. Or you can grab the outside of your feet or the outside of your ankles and then pull in. And the idea with pulling in is that you've got something to gently pull against to bring your spine a little bit deeper into it as you press into your feet, draw your hips up, and the weight of the head is totally released. Release where you're at. Take your walk up to your low lunge position. And then from this low lunge, we are again going to come into Ardha Chandrasana with your left hand as your base, half moon. So left hand shoots out in front of you. You can go to your fist, your fingertips. You can be on your block or on a water bottle. And then guide your right hand to your hip and let the front of your right hip open to face the right wall. Awesome. So your right toes are facing the right wall. And your right heel is pressing behind you. And then from there, start to open your right arm up in space. So now you were stacking the shoulders, reaching out through the fingers. Find your breath. Last couple rounds of breath. You got it. Okay, low lunge, and then our last vinyasa. We step back to plank. You can go right to down dog if you want, or drop it halfway. Inhale, up dog, or your last little back bend. Exhale into downward facing dog. Find the last round of breath in that down dog. And then bring it down to your sit bones. Bring your legs forward in space. Nice work, friends. So as we come on to our sit bones, I want to give us a chance for a fire log double pigeon hip opener. So your left foot, your left shin is going to cross up parallel to the top of your mats. And you can also do this on your back in reclined pigeon with your left ankle over your right knee and just laying down. But for double pigeon, we've got the left shin up at the top of the mat, and then grab your right leg and start to cradle your right leg across your body. And then you're going to notch up the indentation on the outside of the ankle between ankle bone and heel over the inside ridge of your knee. From there, we'll stack our fire logs. So sit bones can shift back in space. And then find the length in your spine from the front edge of your sit bones. I've got a gap here, and if I had a block, I could put a block in. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it as it is. One piece we want to watch is that your ankle doesn't collapse. So you don't want the top of your foot to point up. You want the bottom of your foot rather to point up. You want the bottom of your foot to point to the side. And if you're feeling it here, with the toes flexing in, we can start to walk the arms forward in space. And what I like about that is you can bring your right tricep above that right knee, and it can gently press down into that right knee. And again, you're just watching that the right ankle's not collapsing. That's your fulcrum point as your right knee pulls closer to your left foot.
And we just take it breath by breath. Vertebrae by vertebrae start to roll up. Take your legs out in front of you and then just give a little bit of movement through your ankles. And we'll move into the other side of that one. So now your right shin crossing parallel to the top of your mat. Grabbing onto your left foot, your left knee, just make a cradle, hugging the leg in across your chest. And again, we could always do this on our back and recline pigeon where your left ankle is over your right knee. But for double pigeon, notch up the indentation on the outside of the ankle over the inside ridge of the knee, thigh, and then stack your fire logs, so shift your sit bones as you need to. Flex your toes in. And then from there, if you did have a block or a blanket or a jacket or something, you could put it in between the space between your left knee and your right foot. And we can also do that walk forward where we're walking the fingertips out in front of us, the hands out in front of us, and then dropping your left tricep down to give a little press onto that left knee. And again, check that your left ankle is not collapsing. So you don't want the bottom of the left foot to start to point to the sky. You want it to point over to the right side of the room. And I remember the first time I was shown this pose, I was at Brian Kest's studio in Santa Monica Power Yoga, and I was like, what are you trying to get my body to do? This is impossible. So wherever you're at, friends, I want you to take your body where it's at. Give it some breath. Give it the space. That's what I love about this yoga practice. It's just a continual day-by-day experience of our bodies. There's never an end point that we're done with it. It's just a process we get to work with. So if you're in that folded over position, you can start to walk yourself back in, lift up through your chest, and then you'll slide your legs all the way out in front of you. And just take the weight down onto your back, draw your knees to your chest, and give yourself a little massage side to side. Bring your feet down to the ground with your knees pointing up. Step your sit bones in towards your body till your fingers can touch your sit bones, and then lift into our bridge. As the hips pull off the ground, your shoulder blades can step in a little closer to one another. Press down into your elbows. Root into all corners of your feet. Relax the weight of your head. Even feel the big toes on your feet rooted to the ground. So there's a solid base below you pressing as you lift up. And find that breath. Next exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, release down. Find a happy baby, so peace sign fingers to your big toes or hands to the edges of your feet. Knees are out wide and bent so the soles of your feet are shining up to the sky. Weight of the head is released, and you pull down on the frame, getting your low back close to the ground as you take that little rock side to side. And then you can just release your feet, and we'll stack the knees over to the left and reach the right arm out to the right, taking your gaze out across your fingertips.
Left hand gently pulling down on the top and outside of the right knee, and then right shoulder just relaxing down towards the ground. And then nice and slow, just switch your sides out. So bringing the knees up to center, and then shifting and stacking the knees now over to the right, outside edge of the right hip. Left arm reaching out to the left. Gaze out over your left fingertips. Right hand drawing on the top and outside of your left knee. And just working with your inhales, working with your exhales. Using those exhales as always in these stretches to cue your body to relax out a little bit. And then just roll onto your back, bring your knees in, and give yourself one more hug, neutralizing your spine. And then we'll take a couple minutes for our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So just creating stillness with your body, laying down to the ground, relaxing the weight of your arms, your hands, relaxing the weight of your head, of your legs, of your feet. You can let go of controlling your breath at this point and just allow your body just to take back over on the breathing. And create this physical stillness that your mind and your emotions can just slip into. Stretch and reach your arms all the way back overhead behind you. Take a deep breath, reaching from the front of the room all the way to the back. And just turn the weight of your body onto your side into a fetal position, curling up and taking a round of breath. And then we'll meet in a comfortable cross-legged position. You can pull the flesh away from your sit bones, again finding the front edge of the sit bones. Lifting the chest up nice and tall, roll your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. Take an inhale just to draw your arms wide and tall. And on your exhale, just bring your hands to your heart center with your thumbs back towards your sternum. And then this is a piece of the Desiderata by Max Ehrmann, just a paragraph from it. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is clear to you or not, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. Have a beautiful rest of the eve. Much love. Namaste.